Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel today. We're diving deep into the absolute best open-world experiences that have been dominating PlayStation 5 consoles worldwide. These aren't just games, they're digital worlds that have stolen countless hours from our real lives, and honestly I regret nothing. From sprawling fantasy realms to post-apocalyptic wastelands, we're counting down the top 20 most played open-world games that prove the PS5 is an absolute beast of a console. So grab your favorite snack, settle in, and let's explore these incredible worlds together. And hey, if you end up adding 5 more games to your wishlist by the end of this video, well, that's what we call a successful Sunday. Kicking off our list is the Saints Row reboot, and before you roll your eyes, hear me out. Yes, it's messy. Yes, it's not Saints Row 2, but you know what? Sometimes you just want to drive a flaming monster truck through a shopping mall while your custom character, who looks suspiciously like your ex, causes absolute mayhem. The world of Santo also feels alive in all the wrong ways, and that's exactly what makes it charming. The combat is satisfyingly over the top, with weapons that would make a cartoon villain jealous. Wingsuits, rocket launchers, and enough explosions to power a small city, it's pure, unadulterated chaos. Sure, the story's about as deep as a puddle, but when you're wingsuiting off a skyscraper into a convoy of enemy vehicles, philosophical depth isn't exactly the priority. It's comfort food gaming at its finest. Now we're stepping back in time to the 1930s, and let me tell you, Lost Heaven is one of the most atmospheric game worlds ever created. This isn't just a remake, it's a love letter to classic crime cinema wrapped in absolutely stunning visuals. The attention to detail here is insane. Every car feels heavy and authentic. The gunplay has this weighty, deliberate feel that perfectly captures the era and the story. Chef's kiss. It's a masterclass in interactive storytelling. Tommy Angelo's journey from taxi driver to made man is genuinely gripping, with characters you actually care about. What sets this apart is how it treats its open world. This isn't about collecting 500 feathers or clearing 40 outposts. Lost Heaven feels like a living, breathing city where every street corner has a story, and every mission feels meaningful to the overall narrative. The graphics on PS5 are absolutely gorgeous. Those rain-soaked streets and neon-lit speakeasies will make you forget you're playing a video game. London's never looked so dystopian, and honestly, it's kind of beautiful in a terrifying way. Watch Dogs, Legion's big gimmick, playing as literally anyone you meet, could have been a disaster, but somehow it works. I spent 3 hours recruiting a street performer just because I liked her accent, and I regret nothing. The world building here is phenomenal. Ubisoft's version of near-future London feels uncomfortably plausible, with surveillance drones humming overhead and corporate propaganda plastering every surface. Each character you recruit has their own backstory, voice acting, and unique abilities, making every playthrough feel genuinely different. The hacking mechanics are incredibly satisfying. There's something deeply therapeutic about turning the entire city's infrastructure against your enemies. Traffic lights, security cameras, construction equipment, and everything becomes a weapon in your digital arsenal. Oh, Cyberpunk, we need to talk. Yes, the launch was, let's call it memorable for all the wrong reasons. But here's the thing, after multiple updates, DLC, and the PS5 upgrade, Night City has become one of the most immersive urban environments in gaming. Walking through the neon-soaked streets, hearing the mix of languages, feeling the weight of corporate oppression pressing down on every citizen, it's cyberpunk fiction brought to life. The character writing is genuinely excellent, especially once you get past the main story beats and dive into the side quests. Combat feels punchy and satisfying, especially with the various cybernetic enhancements. There's nothing quite like slowing down time, pulling out a katana, and carving through a room full of corpo security guards while synthwave pulses in the background. Is it perfect? No. Are there still bugs? Sometimes. But when it works, and it usually does now, it's absolutely magical. If you've ever wanted to feel like Spider-Man in a zombie apocalypse, Dying Light 2 has you covered. The movement system in this game is pure poetry, chaining together wall runs, slides, and grappling hook swings while zombies snap at your heels never gets old. The city is massive and vertically designed, encouraging you to stay off the ground where the real dangers lurk. During the day, you're a parkour god gracefully leaping between rooftops. At night, you're prey, and the game makes sure you never forget it. What really impressed me is how your choices actually matter. The factions you support literally reshape the world around you, adding windmills, water towers, or other infrastructure that changes both the visual landscape and your traversal options. It's environmental storytelling at its finest. The zombie combat is visceral and satisfying, with weapon degradation that actually adds tension rather than just annoyance. When your favorite axe breaks mid-fight, your heart genuinely skips a beat. Yara might be ruled by a dictator, but damn if it isn't gorgeous. Far Cry 6 takes everything we love about the series, chaotic combat, beautiful environments, and absolutely unhinged side missions, and cranks it up to 11. Giancarlo Esposito as Anton Castillo is genuinely terrifying, bringing the same menacing charisma he perfected as Gus Fring to the world of video games. The story tackles heavy themes of revolution and oppression while never forgetting to let you strap a rocket launcher to your back and ride a horse into battle. The guerrilla combat system feels more dynamic than previous entries, with makeshift weapons and vehicles that perfectly capture the DIY spirit of a resistance movement. Plus, Chorizo the disabled dog companion will melt your heart while somehow being incredibly effective in combat. While technically more of a large open district than a full open world, Miles Morales' version of New York is so perfectly crafted that it deserves a spot here. Every swing through Manhattan feels effortless and exhilarating, with the DualSense controller providing tactile feedback that makes you feel every web line. Miles brings his own unique flavor to the Spider-Man formula with bioelectric powers that are visually stunning on PS5. The way electricity arcs between his fingers, the screen lighting up with each Venom blast, it's pure superhero fantasy realized. The story is more personal and intimate than the original, focusing on community and family in ways that hit surprisingly hard. When Miles saves a bodega owner or helps resolve neighborhood disputes, it feels meaningful because the game has made you care about these people and this place. The graphics are absolutely phenomenal, especially with ray tracing enabled. Swinging through Times Square at night, seeing every neon sign reflected in the rain-slicked streets and Miles' suit, it's breathtaking every single time. Eva's journey through 9th century England is massive, and I mean massive. This game respects neither your time nor your sleep schedule, and honestly, I'm okay with that. The world is absolutely enormous, packed with mysteries, side quests, and enough content to keep you busy for months. What sets Valhalla apart is how it handles its narrative structure. Instead of one overarching story, you get multiple saga arcs, each focusing on different regions and characters. It feels more like reading a collection of Norse legends than playing a single game, and that episodic structure keeps things feeling fresh even 80 hours in. The combat is brutal and satisfying, with dual-wielding options that let you experiment with different weapon combinations. There's something deeply satisfying about charging into battle with two massive axes while your Viking crew cheers behind you. The settlement building adds a surprisingly addictive progression system that makes you feel genuinely invested in your clan's growth and prosperity. Every upgrade feels meaningful, and seeing your little outpost grow into a thriving community is incredibly rewarding. Tsushima Island isn't just beautiful, it's poetry in motion. Every frame of this game looks like it could be a painting, with windswept grass fields, ancient temples, and cherry blossom trees that'll make you stop mid-mission just to appreciate the artistry. Jin Sakai's transformation from honorable samurai to the legendary ghost is masterfully handled, with gameplay that evolves alongside the narrative. Early game stealth feels desperate and clumsy, but by the end, you're a shadow-dancing death machine that strikes fear into Mongol hearts. The combat system is pure samurai cinema, deliberate, precise, and absolutely gorgeous. Standoffs feel like scenes from a Kurosawa film, with tension building until that perfect moment when steel meets steel. The photo mode is dangerously addictive. I probably spent 20 hours just taking screenshots. The Iki Island expansion adds even more emotional depth to Jin's story, while introducing new gameplay mechanics that somehow feel both fresh and perfectly integrated. It's essentially a whole new game's worth of content. Blackreef Island might be small compared to other entries on this list, but what it lacks in size, it makes up for in density and creativity. This isn't your typical open world, it's a puzzle box where every element is connected, and solving it requires genuine detective work. The time loop concept could have been gimmicky, but Arkane Studios uses it to create something truly special. Each loop teaches you something new about the island, its inhabitants, and how to manipulate the systems governing this strange world. By the end, you'll know Blackreef better than your own neighborhood. Colt's journey from confused time prisoner to master manipulator is genuinely engaging, helped by some of the best dialogue writing in gaming. The banter between Colt and Juliana is sharp, funny, and adds emotional weight to what could have been a sterile puzzle game. The 70s aesthetic is immaculate, with a visual style that's both retro and timeless. Every building, poster, and piece of clothing feels authentically period-appropriate while still looking absolutely stunning on modern hardware. Planet 4546b's ocean is simultaneously the most beautiful and terrifying game world ever created. The first time you dive below the surface and see shafts of sunlight piercing the blue depths while alien fish dart around coral formations, you'll understand why this game has consumed so many players' lives. What makes Subnautica special is how it uses the ocean as both playground and prison. The same water that offers stunning vistas and peaceful exploration moments can instantly become a nightmare when you hear the distant roar of a Reaper Leviathan echoing through the depths. The base building system is incredibly satisfying, letting you create underwater sanctuaries that serve as both functional outposts and works of art. There's something deeply satisfying about returning to your carefully designed base after a harrowing expedition to the deep ocean trenches. The story unfolds naturally through exploration and environmental storytelling, creating a sense of mystery that drives you deeper into increasingly dangerous waters. Every new biome brings fresh wonders and terrors in equal measure. No Man's Sky's redemption arc is the stuff of gaming legends. What launched as a disappointment has evolved into the ultimate space exploration fantasy, with updates that have consistently added meaningful content for years. With 18 quintillion planets to explore, the scale is genuinely mind-boggling. Yes, many planets share similar characteristics, but when you land on that perfect paradise world with purple grass and floating islands, the procedural generation feels like magic. The base building system has evolved into something incredibly robust, allowing for everything from simple shelters to massive architectural marvels that span entire continents. Community hubs showcase player creativity that rivals professional architects. What really hooks you is the sense of genuine discovery. Whether you're the first person to set foot on a planet, discovering a new species, or stumbling upon ancient alien ruins, every exploration session offers the potential for something genuinely unique. Aloy's post-apocalyptic world, where nature has reclaimed civilization and robot dinosaurs, roam the Earth is pure gaming fantasy realized. The contrast between primitive human tribes and advanced machine creatures creates a visual and thematic tension that never gets old. The hunting mechanics are absolutely genius. Each machine requires different strategies, weak points, and approaches. Taking down a Thunderjaw feels like solving a deadly puzzle, with every arrow placement and trap deployment requiring careful consideration. The lore is surprisingly deep, with a mystery that unfolds gradually and payoffs that genuinely surprised me even 30 hours in. The way the game reveals what happened to the old world is masterfully paced, turning exposition dumps into genuine emotional moments. Aloy herself is a fantastic protagonist, competent without being perfect, curious without being naive, and strong without losing her humanity. Her journey of self-discovery parallels the player's exploration of this fascinating world. Peter Parker's New York is the gold standard for superhero games. The web-swinging mechanics feel absolutely perfect. Every swing has weight and momentum, making traversal feel both effortless and exhilarating. I probably spent more time just swinging around Manhattan than actually completing missions, and I regret nothing. The combat system strikes the perfect balance between accessibility and depth. Anyone can button mash their way through fights, but mastering the timing and combo system to create those perfect web tornado moments is incredibly satisfying. What really sells the experience is how lived-in this New York feels. Citizens react to Spider-Man with genuine enthusiasm, random crimes feel organic rather than gamey, and the landmark recreations are spot-on. This is a Manhattan that feels real and alive. The story balances multiple villains and plot threads without feeling overstuffed, and the emotional beats hit surprisingly hard. The relationship between Peter, Aunt May, and the various supporting characters gives weight to all the web-slinging action. The American frontier has never felt more alive than in Red Dead Redemption 2. This isn't just an open world, it's a living, breathing ecosystem where every animal, NPC, and weather pattern feels authentic and interconnected. Arthur Morgan's journey from loyal outlaw to, well, no spoilers, but his character development is genuinely masterful. The way his worldview changes based on your actions creates a personal story that feels uniquely yours while still hitting all the right narrative beats. The attention to detail is absolutely insane. Horses develop relationships with you over time, your beard grows in real time, NPCs remember previous encounters, and the entire world reacts to your reputation. It's the most immersive game ever created, period. The downsides: this game does not respect your time. Everything takes longer than it should, from traveling to skinning animals to accessing your inventory. But somehow, that deliberate packing becomes part of the charm. It forces you to slow down and appreciate the incredible world Rockstar has created. Kratos and Atreus' journey through the Norse realms is gaming storytelling at its absolute finest. What could have been a simple, angry man throws axes, experience becomes a profound meditation on fatherhood, legacy, and redemption. The Lake of Nine serves as a central hub that constantly evolves as you progress, with water levels changing and new areas becoming accessible. It feels like a real place with geography that makes sense, rather than a video game level designed for player convenience. The combat system transforms Kratos from a button-mashy berserker into a strategic warrior. Every axe throw feels weighty and impactful, and the way it returns to your hand never gets old. The upgrade system encourages experimentation with different runic attacks and equipment builds. But it's the relationship between Kratos and Atreus that makes this special. Watching their bond develop from tense obligation to genuine love and respect is incredibly moving. elevated by absolutely phenomenal voice acting from Christopher Judge and Sonny Suljic. Aloy's second adventure takes everything great about Zero Dawn and cranks it up to 11. The Forbidden West is absolutely gorgeous, with biomes ranging from underwater coral reefs to post-apocalyptic San Francisco, each rendered in stunning detail on PS5. The machine variety is incredible. New creatures like the Tremortusk and Slitherfang require completely different strategies and approaches. Combat feels more fluid and dynamic than its predecessor, with improved traversal options that make every encounter feel like a puzzle to solve. What really impressed me is how the story builds on the original while still feeling accessible to newcomers. The themes of environmental destruction and technological hubris feel more relevant than ever, while Aloy's personal growth keeps the emotional stakes grounded. The underwater exploration sections are breathtaking, turning swimming from a chore into genuine exploration. The way sunlight filters through the water while schools of fish part around ancient ruins, it's pure visual poetry. Actually, you know what? Ghost of Tsushima is so good it deserves 2 spots on this list. The director's cut editions, including the Iki Island expansion and PS5 enhancements, essentially create a whole new experience that builds on the already perfect foundation. The haptic feedback implementation is subtle but brilliant, letting you feel the tension in your bowstring and the impact of every sword clash. The load times are practically non-existent, making fast travel so smooth you'll barely notice the transitions. Iki Island's story adds surprising emotional depth to Jin's character, while introducing new gameplay mechanics that somehow feel both fresh and perfectly integrated. It's essentially a whole new game's worth of content that matches the quality of the base experience. Los Santos has been dominating gaming discussions for over a decade, and for good reason. It's one of the most detailed and reactive game worlds ever created. The fact that people are still discovering new details and Easter eggs speaks to the incredible density of Rockstar's creation. The 3 protagonist structure keeps the story fresh throughout its considerable length, with Michael, Franklin, and Trevor each offering completely different perspectives on the criminal underworld. The heist missions are gaming's equivalent of Ocean's 11, requiring genuine planning and coordination. But let's be honest, most of our time in Los Santos isn't spent on missions. It's spent causing chaos, exploring every corner of the map, and just existing in this incredibly reactive world. The physics engine turns every car chase into a unique action sequence, and the radio stations provide the perfect soundtrack to your criminal adventures. The online component has essentially become its own separate game, but even the single-player experience offers hundreds of hours of content. This is comfort food gaming at its absolute finest. Was there ever any doubt? The Witcher 3 isn't just the best open-world game on PS5, it's arguably the greatest RPG ever made. Geralt's final adventure through the Northern Kingdoms and beyond creates a world so rich, so detailed, and so emotionally engaging that it ruins other games by comparison. Every side quest feels like it was written by someone who genuinely cared about the outcome. These aren't fetch quests or busy work. They're mini-stories with meaningful choices, memorable characters, and consequences that ripple throughout your playthrough. I've never felt guilty about ignoring side content in other games quite as much as I have since playing Witcher 3. The world building is absolutely phenomenal. Velen feels like a war-torn countryside where desperate people make desperate choices. Novigrad pulses with the energy of a medieval metropolis where politics and religion clash violently. Skellige's islands capture that harsh Nordic beauty perfectly. Each region has its own culture, problems, and personality. Combat gets a lot of criticism, but I think it perfectly captures Geralt's methodical, strategic approach to monster hunting. This isn't Devil May Cry, it's about preparation, timing, and using the right tool for the job. Every Griffin fight feels different from every Necker encounter. But what makes Witcher 3 truly special is how it handles player choice. This isn't good choice, bad choice morality, it's complex decisions with unpredictable consequences. The Bloody Baron questline alone contains more meaningful choice and consequence than most entire games. The complete edition on PS5 looks absolutely stunning, with load times that make the massive world feel seamless and interconnected. This is the definitive version of a masterpiece. If this video helped you discover your next gaming obsession, smash that like button and consider subscribing for more deep dives into gaming's greatest worlds. Trust me, your backlog may never forgive you, but your gaming soul will thank you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and remember, there's always another horizon to chase.